Oh, I remember when Ralph,
When me and Ralph,
that was so funny.
when we were on top of each other, you was like,
Yeah,
"What
you
is?"
were down and he had it came to
Okay,
his
we're
neck.
live.
And I
Oh,
was laughing
sorry.
hysterically to myself, and I didn't think
Whoops.
anybody else noticed it.
She's like, "We're live."
We're live, y'all. Okay. So welcome everyone
Oh,
to the
goodness.
May 16th, 2023 Community Preservation Committee. My name is Karen Lee. I'm the administrative consultant. And before we begin, just have a note here. The temporary provisions in the open meeting law regarding remote meetings are now extended until March 31st, 2025. Meetings are held at 6 p.m. on the first Tuesday of the month. The minutes and agendas for all meetings are available on the meeting portal of the city website. Meetings are live and recorded for viewing on this Facebook page, facebook.com/Springfield Community Preservation Committee. Public comments are welcome, and you may contact or send an email or write a letter to the Community Preservation Committee, City Hall, 36 Court Street, Springfield, 01103, or email to cpc@springfieldcityhall.com, or our phone number is 413-530-1268. And that's it for me tonight. We're going to be our first meeting with discussions on the projects that were submitted for CPA funding. And our chair is Bob McCarroll, who will now call the meeting to order. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Karen, and welcome committee members and anyone who's watching us. Present so far, we have Planning Board Representative Gloria DiFilippo, Conservation Commission Representative Juanita Martinez, Park Commission Representative Clinton Harris, Neighborhood Representative Yolanda Cancel, and Historical Commission Judith Kroll. I represent the Springfield Preservation Trust. I've not heard from others, so I assume that they will be logging in as we go on. I see Neighborhood Representative Steve Bosworth arriving now. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes of our previous meeting. Did everyone get them? And if we could have a motion to adopt them?
Make the motion.
In a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Oh.
Okay. So unless there are any corrections, we will vote to adopt the minutes. Clinton?
Yes.
Juanita?
Yes.
Gloria?
Yes.
Yolanda?
Yes.
Judith?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And Bob is yes. The next item on the agenda was the 2024 budget, but we have yet to receive advice from the Department of Revenue as to what percentage we should be using for the state distribution that comes out every November. I've been told that it was due out either yesterday or today, but we haven't received anything yet. So hopefully by the time we meet on our June 2nd meeting, we will have been given guidance, because then we can plug in that figure. So we're now at the point of talking about our 2023 applications. Housing Authority Representative Willie Thomas is logging in. Hey, Willie. And very shortly, Karen will start listing folks' choice. This is simply for talking purposes to get an idea of what people are thinking, and then we will discuss every single project. We're going to start off now with everyone simply listing their project, and to make Karen's life easier, list them, your choices, as it goes down the list. And we're going alphabetically across that list that Karen had sent out. Even if you've already sent her your 8 projects, when we come to you read them out so the public can hear them. So B starts first. So, Karen, you have a question?
Yes, would you like me to bring the spreadsheet up so that you can look and let me know if there's anything wrong, or just read them down?
I think it's fine now to have this. Yeah, let's put up the spreadsheet now, and we can see. So,
this, I don't know, it might look a little small to you. Do you want me to read them? Or
I can certainly read. So I'm going to read what I sent in, and Clinton will read, and Gloria,
Okay.
then Juanita. So it's just, and you don't have to comment on them. You're just reading them so Karen can check them off. So I was Treetop Park, Alden Street Park, Abbey Brook Acquisition. I was the Immaculate Conception Church, Daniel's New Bethel Church, the Indian Orchard Fire Station, Kilroy House, and the Historic Homes Program. Clinton?
Yes, thank you, Bob. DMO Museum of Fine Arts.
did
McKnight
you
Common.
put them in order?
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is such a small sheet for me. Okay, in order.
That's alphabetical order.
Bike and State Parks Study. Treetop improvements. Improvements to the exterior, masonry and removal of the non-historic items at the community music school. Hope I lost it. Hold on, please. I lost your sheet there, Karen.
Okay, I can send this to everyone right now if you'd like me to.
Oh, I could just read the ones that I've checked
Okay.
because it's not on the page. Is it just mine that's not up for?
No, so can you see where the cursor is right now on item number 10, McKnight Common Areas? That was your next one.
Yes.
Okay, and then number 14, Community Music School.
Yes, yep.
Number 15, the Indian Orchard Conversion, a fire station.
Yes.
The 7-9 Stockbridge Street Rehabilitation. Number 18.
Yes.
Number 19, the Demore Museum of Fine Arts.
Yes.
And the Historic Homes Restoration Program, number 25.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Gloria, can you read yours, or is the print too small? You're muted, Gloria.
Okay. Let's see, Angelina Park improvements. Improvements to exterior masonry, removal of non-historic items, the community music school, the conversion and reuse of Indian Orchard Fire Station, stabilization of building masonry and other repairs, 7-9 Stockbridge, Demore Museum of Fine Arts, Kilroy House, and that's it. Oh, Gemini Townhouse and the gun block building restoration. I'm good at this, huh?
You and me both.
Okay. Juanita?
Okay, so the bike and skate park study. The Angelina Park. the
Could you
Abbey
read me the
Brook-
number? Juanita, please?
Oh, sure, sure. So it's number 2. That's the skate,
Yep.
the skate park. And Angelina Park, which is number 7. And the Abbey Brook acquisition, which is number 8. The fire station conversion, Indian Orchard, number, it's over 15, isn't it? 15,
Yes.
okay. The stabilization of 7-9 Stockbridge, which is number 18. And the Kilroy House, number 20. Gun Block, 22. And Historic Homes, 25.
Okay, Judith?
Yes, I have the Myrtle Street Park enhancements in Indian Orchard. That's number 5. Wait, where are you? No, number 5, yes. Then I have number 13, the Daniels New Bethel Church of God for windows and masonry. Number 14, the Community Music School, improvements to exterior. Number 16, restoration of stained glass windows at Old Faith Lutheran Church. Number 17, oh no, I have stained glass restoration at Trinity, number 16. 17, stained glass reservation at Old Faith Lutheran. And number 18, stabilization of the masonry at Stockbridge for the Springfield Preservation Trust. 21, the Kavanaugh Building, and 22, Gun Block Building restoration.
All right. Thank you. So why don't we, for the time being, skip Rhonda? Karen, you can read hers if she's not ready at the time, and we'll move on to Steve.
Okay, here we go. All right, I'm on. I'm still muted.
Yep.
Oh, you're on.
Okay, my first one there. Okay. First one is Immaculate Conception Church for restoration. Second one, number 13, Daniel's New Bethel Church of God in Christ, windows and masonry church improvements. Community Music School, number 14. And then number 16, conversion and reuse Indian Orchard Fire Station.
That's number 15.
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
number 15. I can't read this. I'm next. So my next one is 19, I believe, Dunmore Museum of Fine Arts exterior restoration. Kavanaugh Building reuse. 21, 22, Gun Block Building restoration. And 24, Old Hill infill development.
All right, thank you. Willie, are you there? I'm not seeing you, but you may just be off my screen. Okay, well then, Yolanda, you're up next.
Okay. It's kind of hard to see. Number 2, Walk Bike Springfield.
Oops, sorry, that's wrong. Number 2. Okay.
You got it? Number
Yep.
2?
Yes.
Okay. The number 4, Old Hill Neighborhood Council, recreation. Number 5, Indian Orchard Citizens Council, recreation. Number 7, East Springfield Neighborhood Council, Recreation. Can you go to the next one?
on.
Number 10, McKnight District Improvement. Did you hear it?
Yes,
Okay, so number 10,
yes.
okay. Go down to the next screen. Oh, sorry. Is that the next one?
It's, I can scroll. Do you know what number you're looking for?
I think I was looking for 14.
Community Music School?
Yep. Yep, Community Music School, number 14. The number 18, City of Springfield, Indian Orchard Citizens Council, partner with the Future Historic Resources. That leaves me at 7.
I'm sorry, what number did you say?
Go up.
What number is it that you said?
It's the fire station.
The fire station. 17, what is that? 15? No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
15
no.
is the
Yeah,
fire
15.
station.
Okay,
Yep. All right, scroll down. And so what is that, 18? Yep,
what are you looking for? 18?
sorry. Just number, yep, 18, the Springfield Preservation Trust.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, one. Do you know how many that was? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I count 8.
I counted it, yeah.
8. Okay, very good.
So, Willie, do you want to read out yours?
Yes, I will. I started with, of course, restoration, 113 Mill Street.
Okay,
Then I went to repair, restoration of exterior Immaculate Conception Church. I went to windows and masonry work at Daniel's Church. Stained glass restoration, Trinity United Methodist Church. 7-9 Stockbridge Street restoration. Kavanaugh Building reuse. Gun block reuse. Historic home restoration program for homeowners. And that's 8.
Okay, and I guess then I don't see Rhonda here yet. So, Karen, why don't you read Rhonda's choices?
okay. Okay, Myrtle Street Park enhancements.
Can you give the numbers?
Certainly I can do that. Okay, number
you.
5. Yeah, you're welcome. Number 5, Myrtle Street Park enhancements. Number 6, Alden Street Park improvements. Number 7, Angelina Park improvements. Number 14, Community Music School. Number 15, the fire station reuse. Number 20, the Kilroy House exterior. Number 23, Gemini Townhouse. And the last one, the Historic Homes Restoration Program for homeowners.
Okay.
And that's everyone.
So Karen, you can now tally it all up, and then you can manipulate the sheet so it now then goes from the most.
Right. So I need a
responses to
couple
the-
minutes, and would
Yep.
everyone like a copy of this? I can do that and send it after I total it, so you have it on hand. But
I'd like a copy, yeah.
okay, all right. So I'm going to stop sharing and give me a couple minutes, and I'll
Yep.
be right back.
Okay. So just a reminder, while Karen's totaling this up, we will then start talking about the projects. We will talk about every one of them, starting with the projects that showed up most frequently on people's top 8 list all the way down. That's as far as we're going tonight. At our next meeting, we will actually start voting, but first you will have an opportunity to change your top 8 based on something that you may have heard in tonight's discussion, or some new information that has come in, and we will start actually voting on recommendations to send to the City Council. That usually takes 2, sometimes 3 meetings for us to resolve everything. Anyone have any questions?
It was a difficult one tonight because there were so many good ones.
Well, and what I would remind everyone is that, in the past, even though everyone only gets to choose their top 8, we usually have enough money to recommend anywhere from 12 to
Right.
15 projects.
Right.
So clearly, there's the opportunity for you to have your 9th maybe show up.
Right, yeah.
Bob, this is Steve, it's pretty heavy lifting for, I've been on committees before, but this was this is really tough to choose among those. For a lot of thought, and doing it for the first time, it's quite an experience. So.
Right, because there were some that actually, again, like always, I want to fund a piece of it. And we could afford to, to fund a piece of it, like a section of it, take a park, a part of it, maybe a playground, but not the rest of it, and I feel like there were enough of those, but you can't put, it's hard to put that in the top 8.
Well, correct. And just because, we do not have to recommend everything that they've asked for. In some cases, it could be a phased series of requests. There's some projects that if you don't fund them what they want, they can't do the project, period. There are others that could take and do something and then come back next year. So the fact that it's in your top 8 doesn't mean you have to necessarily then be in favor of everything that they have in their funding application. And that's something that we can mention as we go down the list can go down the list tonight.
Right. Is it okay to mention one now while we're waiting? Or is
Well,
that? No?
you know, if
Okay.
we're going to mention one, the one I think we could easily start with is the Indian Orchard Fire Station, because I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 committee members had that on their top 8. So my guess is when Karen is through with her math, that's going to be the first one we discuss anyway. So we can indeed start with that one, and then when Karen's finished with her sorting, we can see how everyone else came out. So if folks just want to make a comment as to, you know,
Whoops.
why the fire station was on their top 8.
Well,
Well,
I
Bob-
think that the fire station is one of those, every once in a while, one comes up that it's like, it's a perfect one. The community wants it. It will really enhance that community as well as bring people from other parts of Springfield to it. It's just one of those really good applications. It comes from the community. There is some support. There's some monies out there. In general, it's one of those. It's like the playground. What was that playground brought up? The one on.
The McKnight Children's
Yeah,
Park.
it's kind of like that one. Anyway.
And anyone else have anything to add?
I agree with what Juanita said. It's nice to see the city and the neighborhood and this committee come together for a worthy cause.
And it certainly clicks the box under historic resource of it is
Mhm.
vacant, it is deteriorated, it is a neighborhood landmark.
Right.
I like the fact that game tables and exercise equipment, you know, that's a real, for me, that's a real crowd pleaser, gets the people to the park to be able to actually use it. Of all ages.
That's right. And it's a big enough space too. I think that you can do a lot of things with it. The way they've got it proposed in terms of the the upstairs, downstairs. I think it's a great opportunity.
In addition to what everyone else said, I kind of like it too because since I've been on the committee, I don't see too many things come from Indian Orchard, so I like to try to spread us out as much as we can.
It's
that-
also right next to the Indian Orchard, the art spaces that are there, and events happening there, events happening at the fire station. It creates an area there that could be an art area.
That Zeta
So
Govan,
Karen,
that community are bullish about trying to get their community up. Always trying to work to improve that area. I love that about them.
Okay,
Yep.
excuse me. I sent the spreadsheet to everyone, so you should have it now.
but Karen, if you can read off the totals by the project.
Sure. Okay, so with number 7, you just finished discussing the Indian Orchard Firehouse.
Oh,
Six votes
and
for
the
the,
firehouse isn't number 7.
No, it's
No,
for
it
7
got
votes.
7. It's on
7
7
votes.
people's list.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
okay. Okay, they've been renumbered now, Juanita. So
Yeah,
if you-
sorry.
Right, that's okay. Okay. Community Music School has 6 votes. The Springfield Preservation Trust Rehabilitation on Stockbridge Street, 6 votes. Gun Block Building, 5 votes. Historic Homes Restoration Program for Homeowners, 5 votes. Angelina Park, 4 votes. Daniels New Bethel Church, 4 votes. Kilroy House, 4 votes. Myrtle Street Park, 3 votes. Demore Museum of Fine Arts, 3 votes. Kavanaugh Building, 3 votes. Bike and Skate Park Study, 2 votes. Treetop Park, 2 votes. Alden Street Park enhancements or improvements, 2 votes. Abbey Brook Conservation Area, 2 votes. McKnight Common Area Development, 2 votes. Stained glass restoration for Trinity Church, 2 votes. Gemini Townhouses, 2 votes. The McKnight Rail Trail Study, 1 vote. Old Faith Lutheran Church, 1 vote. Old Hill Infill Development, 1 vote. And the last one was withdrawn, which was 21 Mountain View Street. And there you go.
So Karen, I just have a question. I was under the impression that Clinton, for the skate park study, that Clinton, Juanita, and Yolanda had it on their list.
I'm sorry, what number is that, Bob, now?
Well, I don't know what number it is on yours. I can't read that.
Okay.
You had it down as having only 2 votes, and I have it
Skate
on
park.
mine as having the skate park.
All right, so I have Clinton and Juanita.
And Yolanda.
And you,
Oh, my, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Let me reorder this. Thank you for checking my work. I appreciate it. Okay, it's now in number 3.
okay. So, if we can go back to the top, and then we will simply discuss it. People share their thoughts. If people, for some reason, don't like the project, they should share their thought on that. If they like part of the project but don't want to fund the whole project, this is the time to bring it up. So, for those folks that had the community music school, someone give us your thinking.
This is Steve. I think it was a nicely targeted request. I think that the doorways and entrance porticos are a good addition to the total historic look of the building. It seemed like something that was truly apropos for that part of the city on State Street and showing that face. So I felt it was very relatively. I know, I guess you can't really look at the dollar amount, or you shouldn't, but it was certainly a reasonable and compact request.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, I agree, Steve.
Okay.
I think it was well presented. I love love the work they do down there, and it certainly is a reasonable grant. I enjoyed that one. Totally.
Okay. And I just noticed that committee member Rhonda Sherrill has arrived. Hey, Rhonda.
Hi, I just want to apologize for my lateness, but I was at another meeting and it ran over.
Yeah, better late than never. So, you had already sent in your top 8 choices, and we have acknowledged them. And we're now, as you can see, Karen has arranged them by the projects that had the most top 8 appearances all the way down. So the next one, and I will not be participating in this discussion because I am recusing myself. The next one, though, on the list is the Springfield Preservation Trust.
Excuse me, Bob, just for Rhonda, since she just got here, I did send you the spreadsheet with all of everyone's choices and the totals. So if you want to look in your email, it might be easier to look at than on the screen. Okay?
Oh, okay. Well, I think I can tell from the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. And Judy has to leave us. Judy, you can watch the rest of this discussion on our Facebook page because it will be up there later. So
Okay, thank you.
Safe trip to Boston.
Thank you very much.
Night, Judith.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Good night, Judy.
So Springfield Preservation Trust.
Does anybody have anything to say about that one?
I like the project, and I thought it was a good project to stabilize the building, especially in that particular area of town.
Right. And it is a historic building that, and in the past, we've lost quite a few in downtown Springfield, and it's good to take care of that one.
That's Steve. I didn't have it on my list, but it's very close. So I think it's a certainly worthwhile project, and it's going to look like it's going to be really well managed. So.
And as well, we have affordable housing and that's as close to downtown as you're gonna be anyway,
Yeah.
you know, your downtown area. So kind of co-signing what we already have going on down there. We need more development. There's no question about that down there.
Okay, so
Okay, any other comments? If not, we'll move on to the next project. Karen, if you would read it off.
Certainly. The next project is the gun block building restoration. Add 5 votes.
Well, for me, it was, once again, it clicks a lot of boxes under historic resources. It's certainly vacant. It's certainly deteriorated. It's certainly a highly visible building. And it is built before 1850. So when we look at our priorities, it's up there.
Yeah. And Bob and Steve, yeah, definitely. So the anchor of that corner of the whole block, and I think that it'll make an enormous difference to that whole block if this thing is done right and renovated the way that the applicant was suggesting. So I was very much in favor of this one.
Any other comments? Okay, moving down to the next one. I can read this. The Historic Homes Restoration Program with 5 votes.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I agree with this one too. I think it has some value. I think in the past, I haven't always been on the committee, but I like the work you're doing. And I think moving forward, it just has a lot of value for the community in that area.
Any other
help me? This is Steve. Help me with this one. I guess I'm showing my ignorance that this is the one that people can apply for on a house by house basis.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
This is open to any owner occupied house in a local historic district, as long as it was built before 1940, and the participants are chosen by lottery. And we help with roof repair, porch repair, exterior painting, and original window repair, and energy efficient storm window installation.
Okay, I've seen that. Okay, thank you. I guess this is, that's great. I mean, what you do is reserving some of the total overall funds for this and administering it ourselves, right? Essentially.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, this makes a lot of sense. And perhaps if I'd known more about it, I'd vote for it, but certainly a good thing in my view.
All right. Any other comments? So next on the list is Angelina Park in East Springfield with 4 votes.
I voted for this project. I liked their presentation. I thought it was right to the point, telling us exactly what they're going to do with the project. And it's a nice little park with lots of housing and families around it. And I think that the requests will only add to the use of the park.
I agree totally with you, Gloria, and I think they did do an excellent presentation, and this would definitely be my number 9. Hoping that we can get to 9 and 10 as far as the recommendations we have for votes.
Okay.
That would
Any
definitely be
other?
my 9 as well.
Okay. Any other comments?
I frequently drive by Angelina Park with my grandson, and I'm impressed with what they've done with that park so far. I've actually gotten out and walked over and walked around that park. I believe they're headed in the right direction, and I have a lot of confidence that they're going to take the money that we give them this time, and they're going to finish what they started. This
Yep.
project, and it's going to be a very, very nice place. They'll be welcomed by the community, and I will continue to
Yeah.
visit, of course.
And just to bring other newer committee members up to date, several years ago, Angelina Park came before us for a variety of repairs, and we chose at that time, because of funding situation, we chose to recommend the basketball court. So the new basketball court at Angelina was a CPA project from about 4 years ago. And now they've come back for, finishing, doing other things up there. Okay, so the next one on the list is Daniel's New Bethel Church up on Dwight Street in the North End.
This is Steve. I thought this was a worthwhile project. First of all, it's in an area that is probably doesn't get as much attention, historically or otherwise. It is a very interesting building. I think that the church indicated, it convinced me anyway, that they could use this as a community, have community activities in there too once this thing is fixed up. So I felt that because it's certainly an underserved community at this point. I don't know what other things have been happening up there, but it seemed to me it'd be a perfect balancing act to suggest this one, and at their relatively reasonable request.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would add that in terms of CPA involvement, the only other project that I think we've done in the North End is the study of how to preserve the Spanish-American War Memorial, and then we funded the actual work to it. So that's the only project we've done in Memorial Square. So I agree with Steve that it's for, let's call it, geographic distribution of projects. It's good that we have them peppered across the city. All right, any other comments? All right, moving on. The next one is Kilroy House at the Springfield Museums. Any comments?
I voted for this one because it appears to be the final phase of working with the museum on the Kilroy House, and it seems that since it's been funded previously, it is a good idea to finish the project and not leave it half completed.
Yeah, that was my feeling also, Gloria. And just once again, for newer members, several years ago, we funded repairs to the Spanish tile roof of the building and a study of how best to repair the stucco. And then we funded stucco repair, but it is so costly that they could only do 3/4 of the building with the funds that we gave them. And so this application is to finish the stucco repair on the, I'm going to call it the north side of the building, and to restore the original wood windows that are there.
Well, that's
Okay. And
that history is helpful. Yeah, I was right on the cusp of this one, so I have no problem with it, certainly.
Yeah,
All
I was
right.
on the cusp too, but I understand.
Okay, any other comments before we move on? So the next one is Myrtle Street Park enhancements. Any of the folks that had it on their top 8 want to talk about it?
This is the start of the 3 votes. Just-
Well,
Okay.
I will say that I did not vote for it, not that I don't think it's a good project, but I thought that with the fire station project being more important to me, that I thought this one could be put for another day.
Any other comments?
Steve, I kind of agree on that. I was looking at this as on its own, it seems like a very good, well thought out project, but with the fire station, it seemed that the fire station, in my view, would take priority. And if we had to make any geographical choices based upon those factors, that would be it in my view.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. So the next one, I can't read the next one. What is the next one, Karen?
Okay,
Oh,
repair,
Immaculate Conception
Immaculate.
Church. I could just, yeah.
Yes,
Immaculate
3 votes.
Conception. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Steve, I voted for this. Immaculate Conception is an incredibly important structure in Indian Orchard. It anchors a huge parcel right at the intersection there of the Parker Street and Main Street. Knowing how the diocese operates, I think that anytime we can step in and help the individual churches do preservation, I think it's a good idea, especially if it's a particularly important resource. So that's why I voted for this one. It's a relatively modest request. It's the painting and fixing some of the stucco and other repairs. But I think that it's important that that they're addressing this, and I think they indicated that without this grant they would not probably do it. So
Yeah, this was on my list. One, it's one of the smaller asks that we get. The church is highly visible. And the other thing that I'm mindful of, having served on the historical commission, is about 10 years ago, Immaculate Conception came to the historical commission and said, we don't know whether we're going to stay open or whether the diocese is going to close us. We want our church protected regardless of what happens. And they actually petitioned to become a local historic district. So clearly they have an appreciation for the history of their church complex there. And as you come up Main Street or Parker Street, it is greeting you. It's a highly visible neighborhood landmark. All right, any other comments? So the next one is the Dumura Museum of Fine Arts.
well, I did not vote for it, not because I don't think it's a worthy project. It's just that the Kilroy House, for the reasons you all gave, was more important and as is this, but it maybe could wait until the next go round. And finishing up the other project, even though this was started too, but the other one, I think it is in more need to finish up. I don't know if that all
that
makes
was
sense.
my feeling, Juanita, as well.
Yeah,
I thought
that was a hard
anyone
one to
else
pick,
no, that was hard for me. Yeah, I didn't know which one between those two that they
right?
were proposing.
I thought Rachel Hart and I know people did an outstanding job with that presentation. And I voted for this strictly for the culture, so that we can offer something other to the community, especially in relationship to stuff that maybe people are not so used to being participating in and being a part of. So that was my mentality with voting for. They voted for that. And again, we want to finish what we started with them as well.
Okay, any other comments?
I would have
All
to
right.
agree with Clinton. Again, finish what we started. but I could
Well,
go either way.
they're both started. They're both
Right.
started, but I think that Kilroy is in. It's more important to finish that one because of the situation.
Yes, I could be persuaded with my
Yeah.
vote on
Yeah,
this one.
because
The reality
museum,
is, oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that with the Fine Arts Museum, if we were to if we recommend this, there's still a year 3 to come. So we're Kilroy, this allocation, this recommendation, should we make it, will finish the building. This will help get us to 2/3 of the building, but it is a major city asset. So, all right. So the next one down on the list is Kavanaugh Building.
I'll
Oh.
comment. I saw this as a good use of the historical facade, keeping the storefront or the street front historically accurate, so to speak. I know it's probably from a purist point of view, it's not what you want to do is take out the back of the building, leave the facade. I mean, sometimes that's cheating, but at the same time, we got the gun development just down the street, and this year it'll be a significant asset in that respect. It serves a need too in terms of the type of housing that they're proposing here. Housing for some special needs community members, homeless and such, as well as some of the affordable housing. So I'm very interested in housing opportunities, and especially opportunities that address potentially unmet needs and populations that have unmet needs. So that's why I was kind of high on this one.
Okay. Any other comments? The concern that I have with this one and the other 2 housing projects is it seems that they're getting ready to start the project without our guarantee being in place, which sort of leads me to wonder, well, how essential is our guarantee, is our money if they're actually breaking ground this summer? But
now, Bob, that's a good question. In terms of that analysis, and evaluating if some of these applicants have no other, sources of funding. Others have significant, cascading of resources. I don't know to what extent we take care of that, or look at that. I mean, maybe you could give me everybody can give me some guidance on that.
yeah, well, I don't know whether we have set any policy. Certainly, we have helped some multi-million-dollar projects like the Elias Brookings School, and we helped with the last year we recommended for the money for the Gemini complex. They're back again this year, but those are projects that are in the big millions. So our money is a small component of that. But that's not a reason necessarily for us to do it. I'm more concerned of the fact that they're starting already.
Yeah.
Unless anyone has any other thoughts, we'll move down to the next one, which is the bike and skate park study.
Well, I voted for
Any
that.
comment?
I voted for that because as far as recreation, skateboard parks we really don't have any, and at this quality of one, and so many kids use that. I mean, they're all over the street trying to find a place to do it. So they're downtown on some of the buildings, and this offers a place for skateboarding, which I think is important.
I guess my question is one of timing. We funded a previous skate park study that identified a site. That site didn't work out. They're now looking at a different site on Liberty Street, I would be far more receptive to recommending this if we had a skate park that was built and functioning and proving that it was so popular we needed more skate parks. So to me, this is, I would love to support it, but I think it should be supported once we have a skate park that folks are actually using. But that's just me.
No, it's a good point, Bob. I agree with you.
Any other comments before we move on?
Could I comment on it?
Oh, absolutely, Yolanda.
There is no skate parks or bike parks. This particular park, it does say skate, but it's going to be for bikes as well. So it's more of a non-motorized wheel park than it is just considering skateboards. And Springfield doesn't have anything. So we do know that even with Steve Carey from Focus Springfield, he's been on this campaign for over 20 years trying to get a bike park in the city of Springfield. And there's a lot of gentlemen his age who are a part of the city who would love to see this type of park in this city. And I think it would bring smiles to a lot of different families and older people that used to skate back in their days. And like Juanita said, a lot of these kids are basically almost destroying steps and everything because they're over there, they have nowhere else to go. So I think giving this to the city where there is no park like this in the city will this city a city of homes, city of families kind of outlook.
Okay. And any other comments before we move on? Okay. We're now moving into the realm of those projects that appeared on two people's list. So Treetop Park. I was one of the people that included it. For me, we have never done a project in the southeast quadrant of the city. We've done Venture Pond, but that's not quite for as far south. This would be a new project in what's called the Outer Belt neighborhood, and we've never done anything there. I, however, when it comes to voting on it, will be saying that we should not be paying for security lighting. Let's pay for the play fields and the playground and irrigation, but security lighting, they need to find another source to pay for that because that has nothing to do with recreation. If it were lighting so they could play soccer at night, I would be in favor of it. Anyway, that's my feeling on this project. Who was the other person that had it?
I was the other
You,
person.
Clinton?
Yes, yeah, I concur 100% with you, and then I felt the same way about the line item budget as far as security lighting. But yeah, I'd love to see something like this happen in that section of town. That's near and dear to my heart because I love the South End. Period. I love it. So, but anything going on, especially further south, anything going on that offers potential, I want to hear about it, and I want to see if it's something worth putting some effort into, and I believe this one is.
Okay. Any other comments? Right. Moving on. The next one is Alden Street Park. This was one that was on my list. I love the idea of making this sort of marginally used, well used, but marginally maintained little park on Water Shops Pond, more usable for folks to fish at and to picnic at. So it was one of the three recreational projects on my list.
I also found that it was important, although I really don't like the fact that they keep referring to it as Lake Massasoit when it's really Watershops Pond. But it is, the little park is, and I know it's part of a bigger project. The little park, and it will probably come back again. But yeah, and hopefully when it comes back, they'll call it Watershops Pond.
Anyone else? Oh, Rhonda, I see your hand up.
Yes, I voted for this because I'm live in the area and I really feel it definitely needs some help and identify. And I notice all summer long how different families really utilize it.
Okay, so Karen, if Juanita and Rhonda and I had it on our list, this should be a 3. So
Well,
can
I
you
didn't
check?
have it on my list. It
Oh, you
was
didn't
one of
have
those
it. Oh,
that,
I see.
no, it was one of those, it
Oh,
could have been number
okay.
9, you know.
I see. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, all right. Any other comments? All right, moving on to the McKnight Common Areas project.
No, Abbey Brook.
No, we missed Abbey
Oh.
Brook.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Abbey Brook acquisition. This was on my list. We've never done an acquisition project for conservation land, and we've never really done a project in, whether you want to call it Liberty Heights or you call it Hungry Hill. We've never done something up in that area of Springfield. So I put it on my list. Sorry.
And I put it on my list because, again, this is a chance to acquire some land, conservation land. Springfield has an incredible corridor for flyover for birds. I mean, it's known, nationally known for the corridor that it connects with. This one little piece would connect that whole Abbey Brook, and it is the first time we're able to acquire some land, which I think is so important. I know it looks like a big ticket item here, but they are getting money from other sources. And the 250,000 would be from us, would be very helpful. And I know when you look on the the statewide CPAs, acquiring land, it's always like it's a big feather in the cap of the city who's doing it. I feel like this is such an important project. I mean, I had it down on mine as number 1, the chance that we can acquire land, conservation land in Springfield.
Wow.
Land that wouldn't be used for anything else.
Yeah. This is Steve. I mean, I love that concept of acquiring land as a conservationist myself. I mean, this was good. Still a good thing to do, to connect these pieces of land on each side with a conservation parcel, because that gives you the continuity, and it certainly makes sense. I would balk at the price tag. I think they should, get other sources, contribute. And Bob, I had a question, just a technical question. I mean, we're obliged to use some of our. Are we obliged to use some of our funding for open space? This is the only open space project on the list, as far as I can tell, right? Are we obliged somehow to spend money on it?
Well, so the rule is, so first of all, open space, which is defined in a sense as wetlands, woodlands, farmlands, dunes, riverbanks, open space and recreational uses are, in a sense, although they're 2 separate categories, they are part of that pot that we have to set aside for allocation or for future spending if we don't spend it. So it's not that we have to spend money on open space itself. We have to spend money or set it aside. We've never had this issue in that, you know, we have a lot of park projects, a lot of recreation projects that we funded. So we've always spent far more than the 10% that we're required by state law to set aside for open space and recreation.
Okay,
This
okay,
truly is an open space project, even though people show up in front of us and they talk about these little traffic circles as open space. Well, yeah, they're open space in that sense, but they're not open space in the state law definition of what open space is. And we've never done an open space project. The other thing that I would add to this is part of this land abuts Liberty Street, and it's zoned for business. So one could find something like a gas station going in there or a convenience store. So it is, you know, it's not land that doesn't have other potential uses.
And they are getting other monies. There's monies coming from other places. So it's not just relying on us. There are other grants that are available to them.
Well, yeah, they would have to because it's a pretty big project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it too. And I like what you said about it, Juanita.
I mean, it is a chance to do this, and it's the first time we've done it. I mean, one could argue that there is recreation there because people could go birding, but and walking. People do go to that area. It's used. Abbey Brook, the whole area is used by the school that's there.
Okay, any other comments? So now we'll move down to the McKnight common areas. That was what, Clinton, you had that on your list? You're muted, Clinton.
Yes, Bob, I did have that on my list. And I'm not, you know, I just feel like we could actually help them put this to rest. They're looking for $220,000. And I again just believe in, you know, these common area open space kind of projects, taking our city to just another little level of yeah, you want to be around. Yeah, you want to be in Springfield for that reason. So I certainly, my heart is in the McKnight district as well because you know, the Kibbe House and the Washburn Carriage House are just beautiful landmarks for us. So yeah, that's why I voted for it.
Okay. And who was the other person that had it on their list?
I think that might have been Judy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The issue that I have with it, well, I guess I have twofold issues. One is the study of the streets from a traffic control purpose, I don't think is CPA eligible. You know, CPA money can indeed help a historic resource. Are the streets a historic resource? And even if you were to say, yes, they're a historic resource, you can preserve them, you can acquire them, you can rehabilitate them, or you can restore them. Looking into whether you can put in speed bumps or raised crosswalks or close certain streets to certain kinds of traffic doesn't fall into acquire, preserve, rehab, or restore. So part of the thing that they're asking for the study, to me, is not eligible. It may be a very good idea from a neighborhood standpoint, but they got to find another funding source. And regarding Kibbe and Washburn, it's not the owners of those buildings that are asking for the money. It's a third party. And when CPA started, we made a recommendation to fund 2 third parties to have revolving loan funds. The city solicitor showed up at city council when we presented our recommendations, and he said he recommended to the city council that they not have, non-governmental third parties taking money and then distributing it. So I don't know whether that will raise its head again with this. All right. Any other comments? All right. Next on the list is Trinity United Methodist Church. Comments?
Judith and Willie.
Willie, you have anything you want to say? Because Judy's not here.
I'll make a comment, Bob. I did not vote for this, but I thought the presentation went well, and this is one of my likes, but it didn't make my top 8. But yeah, I just truly believe in the work that they're doing over there. It's a beautiful old church, and yeah, I just really believe in what they're doing. So again, like I said, I didn't vote for it, but I would make it certainly my 9 or 10 for sure.
Yep.
And they brought the
Okay.
price a little bit too, as well. $160,000. That's what they're requesting.
Yeah, and this is an example of a project that we could say, hey, we're not giving you that full amount. We're recommending a lesser amount. Do that and come back and see us in a couple of years. So this is something that could be a phased project if we so chose.
Good point. Very good point.
The next one is Home City, but I can't tell whether this is the Gemini or whether this must be the Gemini. Is that correct, Karen?
That is correct.
Okay. So Gloria and Rhonda are the folks that had this on their list. You want to say something on it?
Go ahead, Rhonda.
No, go ahead. I'll get my thoughts together.
Okay. So now I have to get mine together. I voted because of the community housing. And I felt that community housing was an important project for us. And they did a wonderful job with, was it Brookings? No.
Yes.
Brookings
Yeah.
School, yes. Yep. Okay. Rhonda, you have anything you want to say?
Yes, I voted for it as well because I went to their grand opening at Brookings and I loved the way they just really brought that back to life. It made such a difference in that neighborhood. At least by having the opportunity to see what they can do, and there's a need for affordable housing, and I think it would be a great asset and for us to really consider.
Okay.
Hey.
Any other comments?
They have, this is Steve, they have houses already built, townhome homes already built there, right? Is that true or not?
No.
Oh, no.
No, nothing's there
No.
yet? Okay.
No, they're starting, I guess, with groundwork this summer.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, what they said is they have sort of 2 phases, but the 2 phases come very quickly. So maybe it's the foundation people come in and put in phase 1 foundations, and then they move on to phase 2, and then the carpenters come in. But yeah, no, they have not yet broken ground, but they're getting ready to break ground.
I didn't know that. I thought they did. Well, I mean, I think this is a great project too. I mean, we're a very small part of this one, a $22 million budget. I think we talked about the per unit cost when we were talking with the applicant, but again, it's one that I would choose if I had more, more to choose from.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I thought Jasper and those people do an excellent job, and I support affordable housing. So again, that would be something on my list further down the list.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just have one thing. It is affordable housing, and unlike affordable rental housing, where it always stays affordable, I feel that when a person buys a house, and if there is other ways of buying a house, like through Wayfair, or places like that, but this one, it stays affordable even after they sell it. So somebody's buying a house, and you buy that house for an investment, and then when you come to sell it, you can't sell it for market value, which to me means that the person who couldn't afford it at the beginning loses out on what other people get when they sell a house, that it's an investment for them. And so I feel like with the housing, I have to, I don't quite feel comfortable with that yet. I mean, the rental is different because you rent houses that are affordable. But when it's a house and you lose out on the investment, that doesn't, anyway, so that's why I didn't vote for it. Or I didn't put it on my list. I know that sounded
Yeah.
mixed up. I
No,
don't know if
no.
anybody understood
Yeah.
really what it was saying.
Yeah.
Bob,
Well, my understanding was that there is something built into the sale document that allows someone, let's say they buy it, they get, and they're now selling it 5 years later, that they can indeed take out some profit. But if now on the private market, those townhouses are worth, much more, they don't make the windfall profit. They make some profit, but not a windfall profit. The person who can make the windfall profit, if the market's there, is the person who's there at year 15. I think these affordability restrictions expire in year 15. So who's ever selling it off of that can sell it for whatever the market will bear. If anyone
That's
selling
correct,
it
Bob.
prior to that, yeah, okay. All right, any other comments? So the next one is the Highland and McKnight rail trail study going through the Old Hill. Anyone? I guess Yolanda, it was on your top 8. You want to say anything?
I know that they've been working extremely hard on this for many, many moons now. And I would love to finally see it done. And helping out that neighborhood, Old Hill Neighborhood Council in getting this McKnight Trail up and going, because I think it's going to benefit everyone in that particular area. That's why I voted for it. And I've seen so many different sketches and ideas, and listening to everybody and everyone who lives around there on this particular project. That's why I picked it as my top 8.
All right, thank you. My feeling is sort of like, we funded studies for the McKnight Trail. We funded studies for the East Forest Park Trail. This fits in between, but I would feel much more comfortable in voting for it this year if I actually saw some trail in McKnight being built, and we're not there yet. So I'm sort of tired of doing studies where I don't see the results of the study hitting the ground. That was my feeling. So if McKnight were to start this year, I would certainly be much more amenable to supporting this next year.
I agree with you, Bob.
Yeah, that's exactly why it's a great project, but again, it's another study.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know that they came in front of you guys that many. Oh, okay, I agree with that. And if I could change my top 8, then I will.
Oh, well, and
Well,
you do have that opportunity. So next time we meet, people can, based on what they heard tonight, decide they're changing their top 8. Yep.
but Yolanda, that I do want to say to you that many of these options have started with a study. That's often how, and us to some degree, and some levels, funding it, because that's how the momentum starts by a study, and then the city, from the study, then the city at times and gets involved and gives us some money, gives some money into the project as well, and the state, so on and so forth. But just to let you know, a lot of this often starts off from the simple basic study. So that's often how a lot of these things start off, with momentum. So
Oh, okay, thank you.
yeah,
And we have funded many studies.
yes, indeed.
Yep. All right. Unless anyone has any other comments, porch repair, and I guess it's 113 Mill Street. Willie, this was yours. You want to say anything on it?
Well, yes, it was, I listened to the presentation that was made by the homeowner, and she started off looking for about $7,000, and when she finished her presentation, she was down to requesting about 3,900. And I said she's very close to meeting her goal to restore that portion. It's just such a small amount of money that I felt I could support that, and that would take it off of her plate, and she could move on with other things in her life. So I supported that request for $3,900.
I also, I agree with you, Willie. I also had it down on my list originally, and then when I had way too many and I was trying to cull them, I figured, well, it's basically about $4,000, that in the end, we can always come up with $4,000 for this one. It's such a low amount of money that in the end, we always have extra $1,000, and I think that's why I didn't put it on my list, because I figured we could come up with that one.
And I agree too. I just loved her presentation. I loved her energy and her commitment. So I was really standing on, like Willie, I believe, just really backing this woman and how she goes about, her commitment to trying to functionally, make Springfield a better place, just inch by inch, doing whatever we can to make Springfield just a better place to live and to work. So I love their energy.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. So the next one is Old Faith Church on Sumner Avenue, stained glass windows and heating system. And yes, Judy had that on the list. Obviously, she's not here. I mean, I think certainly the windows need work. We've never done heating systems before. We like to keep our money aimed at the outside of buildings that the public sees. But certainly the building is it's a neighborhood landmark there on Sumner Avenue in Fort Pleasant. All right. Any other comments on this? Okay.
Could we agree to funding the heating if it was, since you see such a large amount? I know that church does a lot, especially when you drive by year round, but definitely helping out with heating. Not sure if that's something that we could just vote on.
Well, we certainly, we can recommend portions of projects when it comes to that. But whether we want to fund heating systems is something that I think it's more important that we fund roofs and window repair and masonry repair on the outside of buildings, because that's what the public gets to see when it comes to historic buildings.
Correct.
Okay, and then the last project then is Old Hill infill. Steve, you had this on your list.
Yes, it's another community housing project. I like the concept of infill. I'm big on infill projects and trying to especially utilize the vacant lots that where properties have burned down or been demolished. It's our contribution would be a more meaningful part of the total cost than on the Gemini project, which I think is the same sponsor or same applicant on this. On the other hand, they're not multi-unit houses. I understand they're single family houses, and you're not going to get as many units out there as you would if you had a project that had multiple units. But on the other hand, you're giving people the opportunity to own a home, a new home at that, and you're also filling in the neighborhood where there's gaps and dumping and that kind of thing. So I was kind of excited about that.
I mean, I guess the concern that I have with it is I think I view CPA to a great degree of being physically enhancing communities. And I thought the design of their houses were banal at best. And to think that there are going to be 10 of those cookie cutter houses scattered throughout the neighborhood, he said that he had put the sketch together. And if they're indeed breaking ground very soon, you would think that they would have some better architectural renderings to present than what we saw. Because clearly if I would not want one of those houses going up next to me, at least based on the design, because I don't think it complements the kinds of houses that you have in the Old Hill.
And the greatest variation being just the paint, just the different colors.
No, it was good points.
I know when I asked him about that, because I see that happening around here, where I live, in Forest Park area, when there's a vacant lot, they've put up these, and I asked them specifically about, they're just boxes that are not even a front entrance. It's just stairs to a sort of a metal door. And I feel like, I mean, and when I asked him that, he said, well, those are the ones we can afford. Well, there are others. I mean, they don't have to be, obviously they're not going to replace an old Victorian in McKnight or any place, but it could have a house with a little more detail, just a little bit. They're popping up all over the place here, and they're just like, it isn't like a box, like a cake box. It is just a box, and in many cases, they just hot top the whole area so they don't have to deal with mowing lawns, and I feel like that's not the kind of house that will enhance any neighborhood. And when I asked him, he did say, I specifically asked him that question, and he said, well, that unfortunately that's the money they have to spend on that kind of house.
Okay, so unless anyone has any others, that sort of ends our discussion for tonight. And then we will, at our next meeting is when we will actually start voting. You will have an opportunity to change your top 8. Karen will rearrange the spreadsheet, and we will start voting. Now, keep in mind that in terms of, we have an authorized budget. There is that pot of 10% is already sitting in open space and recreation, 10% in historic, 10% in housing, and then we have a large pot of undesignated money that we can allocate for any one of the 3 eligible areas. And we will see what happens then on the June 2nd. I don't anticipate that we will finish it. One, because we will have to check with the comptroller's office as we get closer to the end of the year to find out exactly how much we have in those in our pots. But we can certainly probably recommend at least safely up to $2 million, and then we have to be more cautious to make sure that we're not over allocating. All right, so unless anyone has any questions about where we go from here, we move on to administrators' updates. Any other questions regarding the next part of the process on June 2nd? All right, Karen, you have any updates for us?
Yes, just a few. I did mention right at the start of the meeting that the open meeting and guidance update is that the remote meetings will be allowed up until March 29th. I'm sorry, March 30th, 31, 2025. So just wanted to mention that. We do have some quarterly reports. Christchurch Cathedral, Gardaducci Associates removed about 1/3 of the windows, and they have them in the shop now for restoration. They started the windows in the nave because they are previously untouched ones, that they can model the other ones to make them more historically correct. The Byers Street Housing Rehab Wayfinders project, the creation of the Lower Historic District is in process. They have a meeting regarding this project later in the week and will provide an update at that time. I reached out to 2612 Main Street, the Work Hub 77 Maple, the Trinity House, and the Down Payment Assistance Program for updates, but I didn't hear back from them. The last one is the East Springfield Library Outdoor Reading Room, and you all received the information about that. They're looking to request an extension, which what I guess will be on the agenda next time. And the historic homes update, of the 20 homes who received a grant, 3 are under contract, 2 have requested reimbursement for the work, 3 are almost ready to complete a contract, 4 are ready to apply for the Springfield Historic Commission approval, 8 are waiting for the preservation report before they can apply for the Springfield Historic Commission approval, and 2 are waiting for a site visit. And that's all I have.
Great. So I've asked, given that although the state has allowed remote meetings to continue, I've asked Karen to look into possible locations where we could do hybrid meetings, just as we did for the annual public hearing when we met down at Focus Springfield. So she's looking at city sites that those of us who want to gather in person can meet at, and the other folks can join us by Zoom.
You know, there is a room like that on Tapley Street, because we sometimes do hybrid, when the public is invited, when the public wants to be there. So Tapley Street has a room. I don't know. I assume we could use it. It's a city building.
Yeah. Karen, I think,
Thank
has
you.
been talking with, Karen, you talked with Parks about we could either use what
Yes.
we call the Bright Nights building,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
in Forest Park, sort of toward the entrance of the park off of Sumner, or there's another space at City Hall, correct?
I haven't got that confirmed if we can use it. That's the one that the mayor gives his, but since it's after 5, it may be a possibility, but I haven't got confirmation on that. So we're looking at probably the Bright Nights building, but I will check out Tapley Street, Juanita.
Yeah, it's a big it's a big room, and there's big screens and the whole thing.
So can we get a consensus of how many people would want to go in person, or Bob? I guess that's you. Never mind. That's a question for
Well, no,
you.
no. I mean, I would be up for meeting in person. So I would be one of the ones. Certainly it makes no sense that I schlep down there and sit in a room by myself. So unless there's some of you that also want to join me, then we will continue remotely meeting. But so Gloria, did you have your hand up? So you would join, everything. Anyone else interested in being part of a in-person part of the meeting?
I like the in-person meetings
I
also.
might, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
At least, yeah. As long as you have the option for remote, in the event that you're not available to, get there on time.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
important.
If people are traveling in their car, they can still join us remotely. If
Right.
they're not feeling well or they're sandwiched between meetings, they can come remotely. So, does anyone of those who are interested in attending a live meeting have a preference? Would you rather do it in the Bright Nights building at Forest Park, or at City Hall? Clearly, we don't have to worry about parking if we're at the Bright Nights building.
Yeah.
I would go Bright Nights building as opposed to City Hall because sometimes
Yeah.
that parking down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happening? Yeah. Of course,
Same.
for me, Tapley's even better. I'll take that one. It's just down the road.
Yeah.
I have no particular preference.
Okay.
I have no
All
preference.
right. Well, so Karen, you could check into Tapley, but failing that, I think the park department has been more amenable to us meeting in that. We've met in that facility prior, and so it's easier for us to do Bright Nights. But look into Tapley as well.
Okay.
And then who knows? Maybe our June 2nd meeting, some of us will be in person. All right.
Right.
So with that, other than saying our next meeting is June 2nd.
No, June
we'll have
6th.
June 6th,
June-
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. So June 6th, Tuesday. So we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Everyone can either wave their hand or say aye. All right.
Aye.
Well, thank you so much. This went faster than I anticipated, so that's a good thing. We're out in an hour and 40 minutes. That's very good. All right, everyone be well, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
good night.
Bye.
All right.
Good work.
Good night. Good night.